active citizenship and patriotism of civil society, business community, and individual South Africans who were resolute in rejecting the EFF attempts to bully, coerce, and intimidate them. They firmly stood by the principles that are the cornerstone of our hard-won democracy. The ANC applauds the responsiveness of the state security machinery to their mandate to protect life and property. We have seen before that anarchic activities of this nature, what they have done to this country. We are still reeling from the effects of the uprisings, July riots that took place in this country last year, which claimed more or less 300 lives of people. Their preparedness ensured that country is not plunged into chaos once more, as the organizers of the ill-fated so-called shutdown intended. Not only did they protect the protesters, but they also scuppered all attempts to plunge our country into disorder and mayhem. As a precursor to the Human Rights Day commemoration, this approach by law enforcement agencies served as an exemplary approach of how our Constitution should be implemented in relation to the enforcement of the various laws of the Republic. This improvement in public order policing, as well as high levels of cooperation with communities, must be consolidated and sustained. The police on their own will not have dealt with the shutdown. It's because of the withdrawal of our people in participating in anarchy, chaos, that this shutdown could not succeed. We reiterate our strong held view that the EFF so-called shutdown was neither in the interest of the country, nor did it advance our hard-won democracy. Instead, it served as the clearest demonstration that the EFF has no interest in building a cohesive nation that invests its collective will to the development and growth of our country. We commend the various sectors of our economy, which include the taxi industry, bus industry, and freight industry, for their principled rejection of the EFF overtures aimed at paralyzing the economy. The response by citizens, the taxi and freight industry, is an example of what a social compact can yield. We'll continue to forge deliberate social compacts with various role players in our communities to ensure that we collectively respond to the challenges which afflict our communities, or put differently, the challenges that diminish our human rights. The ANC joins South Africans from all walks of life who have condemned this so-called shutdown in the strongest possible terms. This attempt at insurrection and overthrow of a democratically elected president from a party that has garnered a mere 10.8% of the national vote must be exposed for what they are. Our people should not be hoodwinked into supporting anarchy and violence under the pretext of service delivery. We call on all South Africans not to heed this call that seeks to reverse the gains of our democracy at the altar of expediency to advance narrow political ends. Following the 55th National Conference of the ANC, we released our resolutions which outline key and immediate tasks arising from conference and articulated in the 2023 January 8 statement. And these tasks, number one, is fixing load shedding and electricity crisis. focus on service delivery, grow jobs and the economy through investment and small business support, deal with crime and corruption, deepen renewal of the ANC, and build a better world in Africa. We are therefore seized with the task of implementing these resolutions aimed at addressing the most pressing challenges facing our people. To this end, the ANC recognizes that it has become exceedingly urgent for it to intensify its work, reinforce its relevance, capability, and credibility so that it continues to be an effective instrument of transformation. This year's State of the Nation address, as well as budget speech, outlines how the ANC-led government is resourcing the outlined priority areas. The ANC is also mobilizing its structures to engage and support communities and encourage their direct contribution towards finding solutions to these challenges. In the coming weeks, we will unveil a program of action which will ensure that our branches are at the center of communities and at the forefront of service delivery to implement ANC resolutions. Though it is still early days, the ANC welcomes positive spin-offs that are starting to show from implementation of the Energy Action Plan. We also note that ESCOM projection made on the 22nd January 2023 has materialized. ESCOM made a projection to the effect that the energy availability factor will increase from 58% to 70% towards the end of March 2023, and that has exactly happened. We have no doubt that the relevant authorities will ensure that these improvements are sustained and lead to a continuous reduction and eventual end of load shedding. We wish to reiterate that we will not be sidetracked from the important task of implementing our electoral mandate and continuously improving service delivery in order to make a better life for all, a lived reality by those who are mainly motivated by political opportunism, adventurism, intolerance, undemocratic behavior, dictatorial tendencies, delusions of grandeur, and an attempt to bully citizens who do not agree with them. And that is what this South Africa is all about, and this is what we stand for with all the citizens of our country. And we appreciate the fact that in the rejection of this attempt to shut down the economy and the country, it was rejected by majority of our people. And for once, across the political divide, and the working class of our people, and the people went on with their business as usual. Those who had to go to holidays went to holidays. Those who enjoyed their time wherever they were, they did, exploiting the fact that it was a long weekend. Law enforcement did their job. 530 or plus people were arrested on attempts of anarchy. So don't tell us a story that there was no violence. The previous night here in Braamfontein, there were attempts of violence, hoodwinking students and everyone else to get into acts of violence. Those were thoroughly suppressed by law enforcement, including in Durban, sporadic activities around the country. When the sun rose, the narrative changed from violence to peaceful march. There was no peaceful march. The attempt was to shut down the country. The taxi industry and everybody else in our country rejected that. It did not materialize. If there were people who were supporting the shutdown, are those we saw marching in Pretoria, including to the gates of Brantirio. The majority of our people did not join those activities. We saw sporadic small activities across the country. Law-abiding citizens said, never again will we be part of anarchy in our country. We saw what anarchy did, shut down small businesses in Soweto. And we have said as the ANC that any form of shutdown will not affect anyone else but the poorest of the poor, and in particular small businesses in our country. There are people who closed their shops because they were afraid that they can be attacked, and they did not do business on a holiday. And it affected the hawkers who did not come out at work to come and work because they were afraid to be attacked, because they were given notices by the EFF. They were given notices by the EFF not to come to work. If you organize a people's revolution, it must be embraced by the people. You don't coerce them and bully them that they must join you. They join voluntarily because they believe in the cause you are taking up on their behalf. So that has failed in our country. So as I conclude, Somlom, it is important for us to react to this because this was the most important and most talked about and the most threatening activity to the economy of our country. And it is no small feat in any way. We didn't call for a shutdown. A political party did, which is represented in parliament. We didn't call for that. And don't come and tell us what should we react to. Don't tell us what should we react to. We're a political party in this country. If the ANC goes this direction and political parties come and react to the ANC and load shedding and all of that, we don't dictate what must happen by who, when, what time. So I think the ANC deserves all the right to express its view in relation to what was politically threatening our democracy, flourishing democracy in our country. It doesn't mean people don't have demands, don't have concerns. They do. They do have concerns, and they must raise those concerns with the democratic government. So thank you very much for affording us a space and opportunity to react conclusively with our view on these particular developments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SG. With that, I am going to invite any questions from colleagues. I will start with yourself, my sister over there, and then yes, proceed to you, my brother. Start with here, and then we will take it in that order, and then I'll come this side.
SG, it's Katel Sohoto from Kaya 959. Just on the sentiments that perhaps the deployment of the Defense Force, the Army, was a bit excessive. Now in hindsight, is the ANC of the view that it still should have used the Army, or perhaps was that too much?
Thank you very much. And then proceed. Over to you.
Kosnati Shazi from Power FM News. My question, SG. In South Africa, we have the freedom of speech. We all know that. But as the leader of the governing party, we took to social media and went for a tit-for-tat with the EFF, labeling their shutdown as a failure. And while you do have the right to express yourself on social media, the general public, the Twitter public, were provoked by your comments because the EFF were not just marching for a shutdown, but they were marching against the ruling government and issues that affect you. So my question is, SG, is there a social media policy in the ANC considering the state of affairs happening in the country, or do you have the right to tweet however you have to tweet, even though the Secretary General will part in their work?
Thank you very much, Nkosinathi. Do I see anyone this side? There's no one. I will then go start. Shall I start at the top? Right at the top, my sister, and then come down here in that order.
This is from the Mail and Guardian. Mr. Mbalula, there's a couple of questions I want to ask which are related to the EFF. But just on what my colleague was touching on, I think it's a relevant question in terms of the ANC's policy on social media. I believe two of your party branch chairpersons were recently suspended by the Gauteng secretary or the Gauteng province around what they were saying on social media. I think it is important just to outline what exactly is your policy around social media and the responsibility that the party has in terms of messaging. On my question, sir, I called you a couple of weeks ago, and I spoke to Sister Penny as well, around the mayor of Buffalo City Municipality and his recall. The ANC in that province had cited that they had the blessing of the top 7 to recall that mayor. I just wanted to get to the reasons for his recall, considering that the Metro had clearly outperformed its previous terms and increased the ANC's vote in 2021 in terms of the local government elections. On the debate around the president of Russia, the ICC having instituted a warrant of arrest against him, and we know that he is due to attend a BRICS summit in August. Just the ANC's own perspective around whether he should be arrested or will he be arrested when he enters South African land. And the US Embassy to South Africa published an article last week, I believe it was at the Sunday Times, threatening SA with withdrawal to AGOA of its position on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. South Africa, as we know, has exports worth over 26 billion to the US. So what's the ANC's response to the US ambassador? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lizega. Samgala?
Thank you very much. Mr. Mbalula, Secretary General of the ANC. Just a question from my colleague here, Zonega, on the international crime bill that was withdrawn in Parliament, whether you as the ANC are considering reinstating that particular bill to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. Remember that post the Omar al-Bashir saga, the ANC's National Executive Committee took a decision to go and start a process to remove South Africa from the International Criminal Court as a signatory. And that was further overturned by the ANC's 2017 conference, which you and our president was later then came on a ticket of $10. Knowing that you are facing a scenario now where President Putin has been declared by the International Criminal Court to be arrested and South Africa is the signatory of that statute of the ICC, are you considering removing that bill, once again bringing it back to Parliament? Then secondly, other issues pertaining to President Vladimir Putin, what will be the ANC's game plan, knowing now that he is on the radar of the ICC and must be arrested? Is he coming to the country? Are you going to be complying with the statute of the International Criminal Court, or you'll be performing an Omar al-Bashir once again and sneak him out of the country? Other issues pertaining to Mr. Julius Malema, the leader of the EFF. Is your battle with Julius Malema not becoming too personal, being that of the master versus the student, knowing that you ultimately ushered him in as the president of the Youth League against the wishes of Saki, of Sikizigala, and all the others who were contesting in the conference to Saki Mukuke, now Saki Mukwen? Are you becoming too personal with Julius and him becoming too personal with you? And where does that leave the party as a whole? Does it not elevate the stature of the EFF, a 10-year-old organization, of an organization that's over a century? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samgala. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good day, leadership and colleagues. My name is Mawande from the Standing World. On the issues of the day, the most important is describing political development of the current time. What is your view on the public sentiment that expressed shock and concern over what the state, in terms of its security, displayed, the technology that it has, and all the sophisticated stuff that the general public say they never knew existed, and it was never unleashed to protect the public from the rampant crime in the country. As we know that we are among the leading countries in terms of crime in the country. I'm sure by now you should have seen yourself that people are saying they are shocked that we actually have such a capable state in the security cluster, but we never saw this. This has been only unleashed to protect property of capital and the interests of capital. And does that mean that the ANC doesn't really care about the crime that affects the ordinary people? That does not mean that is the sentiment out there. I'm sure we have seen it. How do we react to that? Secondly, on the same issues, SG, how did the intelligence of the country succeed this time around? The Minister of Intelligence, the President, was saying that they had intelligence, for instance, among other things that she mentioned, that this was planned to continue for days, in appeal. But you managed to squash it, as you said. How did previously you fail to foresee such things, especially if we were to use the reference that we used the 2021 July unrest? How do you compare the reaction of the security cluster at the time to now? Could it be also accredited to the controversial move of the president to move the intelligence to the presidency, which was met with a lot of opposition at the time? Did it contribute in improving the intelligence of the country such that we managed to have what we had on Monday in terms of the intelligence that we had? On unrelated issues to the shutdown, SG, what is the latest to the issue of the ANC pursuing Mr. Alan for defamation? Is he still in the country? If he is out of the country as is alleged, what is the plan of the ANC in getting recourse in terms of the things that he said about the ANC, which he has said multiple times that he take offense to? What happens in that regard going forward, especially if, as alleged, he has left the country? And then today, I understand that there's a debate in Parliament proposal of the DA on the ad hoc committee on Parapal. Is the ANC going to support it? Is it going to oppose it? If you oppose it, why? If you support it, why? And then on internal ANC matters, the ANC Youth League in Western Cape, when are they going to conference? Are they ready? Do they have the money to go to conference? What are the timelines? Because we understand that there might be challenges in both of those particular issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mawande. Luvuyo.
Hello,
Lukhan, sorry.
It's okay. Mr. Mbalula, most of the questions that I wanted to pose have already been posed. Particularly, I just needed an update on the narrator matter. I know that you had given him a deadline, so I just wanted to find out as to how far that matter is. Are you, are you speaking to your lawyers? Are you pursuing the matter as per your words during the press briefing? So one is unredirected. And then the second one, sir, is again just on this issue of the EFF. Yes, the shutdown happened and it didn't happen. It was successful, it wasn't successful from either way. I understand, of course, that the African National Congress has to kind of respond. But my issue, and the real question that I want to ask is that from where most of us are sitting, it's really like a tit for tat between you and Mr. Malema, where you're calling each other names publicly, and I'm just trying to understand that, is that the level of political debate that we're currently seeing in our country? Is that what our leaders are exposing us to, where Mr. Malema calls you that, he says this about the ANC, you come here and you call Mr. Malema X, and you say that about the EFF? Should we not rather be dealing with issues of substance instead of dealing with the issues of form? Because what's happening really is, yes, it's good for us as the media, because obviously we get to put the headlines, but really, ultimately, the people, the ordinary South Africans are the ones that are looking and seeing that political parties dealing with name calling instead of really dealing with the issues of substance, such as when are we going to deal with this issue of load shedding? When is load shedding finally going to be an issue? We understand that the Monetary Policy Committee is going to sit and is going to raise interest rates again. What does that mean for ordinary South Africans when yet again the interest rates are being hiked in this country? People with salaries who barely can't afford to pay their bonds, pay their cars, and just moving people backwards. Why are we not dealing with issues of substance, and instead we're dealing with issues of form and name calling between our leaders? That's just some of the questions that come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do I have any? Okay, so I'm going to go back, Aikanya, to the back, and then, or shall we just hang 10? Shall we hang 10 and then and deal with these ones, and then I'll come back there and there. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. First and foremost, the first question is excessive deployment of the army. When eThekwini was run down and malls were closed and looted down, and 300 people died in chaos. When Alexander came to a standstill, malls looted to the ground, there was an outcry about the state capacity and authority. And the outcry was that we are leaderless, and that this thing was not insurrection, it was not an attempt to remove government. It became a polemic, it became a philosophical discussion. Here is a leader of a political party, calls a press conference and tells the whole country, I'm going to shut it down. Right in front of you. You write about it. You put it in the headlines. He gives us the date. It will happen, the shutdown, on the 20th of March. He goes about, he talks to the freight industry, talks to the taxi people to shut down the economy. As Quern. Nothing must move on that day. Now the state must fold its arms, the rule of law must be suspended. And then wait for the EFF to shut down the country, do exactly what happened in July last year. And then today South Africans ask a question, was it excessive? To protect the country and to maintain the rule of law and defend an ailing economy cannot be excessive. We are still reeling from the impact of that disaster of last year. If you define today who was fighting for what, somebody just arrived, ignited, put petrol, knowing very well that our people are unemployed and all of that, attacked the shops, and everyone attacked the shops, bakeries looted to the ground. For days, people went without food in this country. You saw live visuals on TV when people were running with fridges. When soldiers arrived, everything was done. People had to be raided in their houses to bring back fridges. Others had to apologize to say, because we are unemployed, we had to do this. Because there was a passage for us to do this kind of things. Now, a responsible state cannot allow that recurrence, especially when you are forewarned. You've got to cover the bases and the entire country, because you don't know where is it going to erupt. And then it was not just war talk, inflammatory speaking, to the point where in which it was pointed that these things will actually happen. There was nothing like peace that was being uttered. What we have to do with peaceful demonstrations That happened every day. The DA, the other day, was marching to our headquarters. Our members through the Youth League came here. The DA marched against load shedding peacefully. Yeah, we reacted to the DA march. And then we said, you shouldn't do this thing of marching to headquarters of political parties. You know where is Megawatt Park. I was standing here. Today you are asking me why must I react to EFF? When they threatened worse than the DA to shut down your own country, you are asking me why, and you're reducing this thing to personality. I'm not a cult. I've never attacked Malema personally. Where did I do that? I've represented the position of the ANC that shutdowns are not a solution. And a political party that claims to be on the side of the poor, if you organize a shutdown, the people who will be at the receiving end are the hawkers, are the taxi people. And I ask the question, if you say you are on the side of the poor, do you know what it means for a taxi not to move for a day? Because that taxi is the taxi of the breadwinner. The hawker who's selling apples here, who did not work because he was frightened that these apples can be hijacked. That person went to bed without food yesterday. In an ailing economy where our people are trying to do something for their own livelihood. Who said anyone must not protest? It is enshrined in the Constitution. We've got no business to question political party marches. People march every day in South Africa. They march every day. We march. We expose the DA in Pretoria, the capital, where they governed for 7 years. We marched through the streets of Pretoria. The shops were open, hawkers were working. And then we dispersed peacefully. And that is it. So, when a registered political party in parliament is attacking the basis of our democracy, you say we must undermine that. If today South Africa was in flames by EFF, what will be the answer? Ramaphosa is irresponsible, he's sleeping on the job, this man must go. He failed to protect ordinary citizens and so on. This work was done because that has to happen in the context of the rule of law. Rule of law, rule of law, rule of law. We can't allow the country to be shattered and then in the name of what? Anarchy and chaos. No. The army deployment was justifiable. That is why even in legal terms, the right to freedom cannot be infringed by anybody. You've got the right to protest, but you can't stop me from coming to Lutuli House on the day of your protest. I've got nothing to do with your protest. You can be supported and mobilize society. That is enshrined in the Constitution. But the role of the police and the army, when the rule of law is threatened and is crumbling, they've got to intervene. I don't know what is tweeting policy, because we tweet what we like. We don't insult people on Twitter. The policy is against members of the ANC demeaning their own organization. I didn't demean the ANC. I simply told the story as it is to the EFF. They differed with me, and that is it. It wasn't Glozy and others. And then I characterized the shutdown as the biggest flop, because what they envisioned with their shutdown was that people are going to take to the street. They were actually following what happened in Sri Lanka. That's why they even marched to Pretoria. They just dreamed of themselves in Ramaphosa's bedroom at Mahlabandlovu, shutting down the country. And then that will be the biggest victory for them. That is, they will be calling it a revolution. A revolution will not be televised. We'll be listening to slogans from Malema for days. But the people did not turn up. They did not turn up to anarchy. They understood probably the things that is raising but they don't subscribe to anarchy. So, who did I insult? I didn't. Don't reduce the fact that I'm the Secretary General of the ANC, and I will never apologize for that. I will never be reduced to attacking anyone personally. I didn't. But the EFF is a political party within its own right. We lead the ANC, and if they are wrong, we will call them to order. We will challenge them like we are doing now. We told them that this shutdown will fail because we mobilize our people. This was not only dependent on the army, it was us talking to our people. And they said, Comrade Secretary General and the ANC, be rest assured we are not joining this. In their voices, small and big, they spoke. Leaders of the churches, they spoke against the shutdown. Not only the ANC, political parties spoke in this country against the shutdown. You say there was a shutdown, which was supported by Bantu Olomisa and Zwelinzi Mavavi, who never even turned up. They just became political commentators of the shutdown. Well, it was a success. How do you say something it is a success? Even yesterday, I'm sure they will be saying it was a success because it was a holiday. Now, how do you characterize that? It's grandeur. It's figmentation of your imagination. You see things that people don't see. Shutdown means as kwelwa, as hambi. It did not happen. Our people stayed away from anarchy and defended themselves. If they claim that there was a shutdown, you don't need the scientific analysis of that. Ask where were the people in the streets. They were not there. Our people have seen it before, they can't twice. It doesn't mean that South Africans don't have grievances. They don't have demands. And that is why they will question. If you've got so much power to fight back a shutdown, imaginary or why are you not fighting crime? Nothing wrong about that question. Nothing wrong. The ministers and the cluster responsible must live up to the expectation to work with communities in partnership in the fight against crime. Police can't do it alone. The people who kill us and do all sorts of things in the areas where we live are thugs that we know that live in our areas. We need to forge a partnership. Our program of action, among others, is going to include mass mobilization of our communities in street committees and everything else to work with the police to fight crime, fight back. Some of the elements of this crime are inside the police. Now, my brother, freedom of speech is Twitter. You can say what you like on Twitter, but without demeaning others and so on. As the Secretary General of the ANC, I don't have to swear at anybody and all of that. I just have to state my point. I get attacked and lampooned on Twitter by some guy I don't know here who said horrible things and so on. But that's not important. The reality of the matter is that the country should not be hijacked. Lizeka party members suspended, probably they did something. We don't run provinces. Provinces run, they are not, we are a unitary structure, but we don't run them. If somebody commit an act of indiscipline in a particular province, the province has got the right to act against that. If the member feels aggrieved, he can appeal up until the national process. So we too in the ANC do have our own constitutional court, apex, of appealing if you think that you have been wronged by the disciplinary processes in the province. But provinces have got all the right to discipline members who are going astray and not following the party discipline. But before discipline, we believe in political management and engagement. Mayor of Buffalo City, the mayor of Buffalo City's matter is handled internally in the party, and a decision has been arrived at. And we're looking forward to implementing the process of a new mayor in Buffalo City very soon. And the province, as we speak, is implementing that matter. The issue of the mayor is an ANC internal process that we are handling. at our level. But over and above that, the achievements we have scored in Buffalo City is collective ANC intervention. They can never be attributed to an individual. There are various reasons why the mayor, a decision has been arrived at that he must be removed. And some of them, I don't think it is appropriate to divulge in the media. The deployment and the redeployment policy of the ANC remains a matter of an individual and the organization. And it is informed by the principle of privilege, if there's anything like that. To serve is a privilege. You get redeployed even if you don't know what are the reasons. We'll counsel you wherever you're going about your new area of deployment. But you don't choose where you go. And for whatever reasons, the ANC can take a decision to redeploy individuals. And that is what has happened in Buffalo City. ICC warrant of arrest will deal with these matters. Government is dealing with these issues. And suffice to say, we will not comment for now on those particular matters. Russia, Ukraine, US ambassador, we have responded to the question before. South Africa have got strong ties with the United States in terms of trading, but we don't subscribe to the view that we can be bullied. We are subscribing to non-partisanship in the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. We talk even to those who are pro-Ukraine against Russia. We believe that everybody must come around the table and so on. Now, bullying tactics, becoming a world policeman on others, we believe that is imperialism in our political terms, and we don't subscribe to that. We will fight against it because in our own ideology as the ANC, we are an anti-imperialist organization and aggression. You know that certain economies and countries must be bullied economically by the powers that be or the superpowers. We have been fighting that from right our inception when we fought what we call colonialism of a special time. And that is what we fought against. And then even today in South Africa, the ANC still lead that particular struggle. Our government is engaging with the US, and we will encourage those engagements to continue. But we support our government principal stance around Ukraine-Russia conflict. Samkelo, reinstatement of, I've answered that. The current National Executive Committee does not have any mandate to get out of ICC, nor has it discussed its position on ICC. So, whenever the NEC discusses this matter and arrive at a conclusion, we will be able to make our views known on it. Not that it is a matter that can be discussed. I'm sure it will be reflected upon. ANC's game plan on putting, again, that matter belongs to government to handle capably so. I've said that there is no war between myself and Malema. He's the leader of the EFF. I'm the Secretary General of the ANC. Yes, I did play a part in his political development. I did defend him when he was expelled in the ANC. He formed a political party. I respect his right as a citizen to go the way he has gone, but I will not allow the ANC to be distorted. He says a lot of things about the ANC. We are corrupt. We are all of those things. He says those things consistently. He says a lot of things about a lot of us in the ANC. The time will arrive at some point to react to that. I don't know what you are going to say. And it is not a priority now. I have said, I'm repeating now, EFF is not in our radar every day. It's not in our radar. We are not about the EFF. I've said it in Pretoria when we were marching. I'm repeating it here once more. We've got nothing to do with the EFF. We are against chaos, anarchy, and any attempt of demagoguery that seeks to hijack hard-won victories in this country will be opposed and will make our views known against unapologetically. Because demagoguery has actually cost World War II. When people said they were socialist and in reality they were fascist. That is Hitler, you see. And then he hijacked the whole world and plunged the world into the Second World War. That's what happened. So if demagoguery is allowed to flourish unattended, it's dangerous. If you're just going to allow that people must shut down the country, we condemn truck drivers when they shut down the country. As a Minister of Transport, I spent hours with truckers on the road up until I reached an agreement with them, shutting down the economy. I know what does that mean. As a Minister of Transport, I was on the ground with taxi owners and drivers, shutting down the country. I know what does that mean and the dangers of it. This economy can be shut down. And if we allow a political party that has got legal standing to promote such tendencies, we will not have a country tomorrow. Let those who want to celebrate with the EFF celebrate, but anarchy cannot define a defining feature of what must happen in South Africa. Everybody has got a right to protest. So there's no personality issues here. Even Malema himself, he does tell you that we are friends. But I don't know friends who attack each other personally. And all of that. So I don't know what is that. But he has said that to you. So there is no animosity. There is political engagement. You see, and we engage, we differ. You see, because, but we don't run EFF. We are the ruling party in this country. That is one thing that people must actually understand. State power displayed, we are very much encouraged by that intervention. Of course, there's a lot that needs to be done with law enforcement in terms of working with the communities to fight crime. Intelligence was performing very well. It looked like the deployment and everything else was well informed around this. The Reiter, we are still pursuing him legally. By last week, we were tracing him through the legal means because he did not respond to us. So we'll find him because he must account for what he said. So if he doesn't account, we'll take further steps, we'll go to court. We'll take him on legally. Like we said, it doesn't matter to us. Nobody can go to ESCOM today in the name of the ANC and then say that I'm sent by the ANC to do this and that. The ANC has never sent anybody to ESCOM. Has never sent anybody to ESCOM to do business on its behalf or whatever. If anyone has done that, the Reiter is the officer of the law, empowered by the law through the law of PRECA, has got the right to have reported those people to the police and DPCI, to bring those people to book. That is what is expected. In fact, what he has done is dereliction on his part. He's got to report those people through PRECA that, hey, Mahleng is busy with me here. And then I'm not comfortable. And I think this is corruption. And then the police and everybody else, the fusion center, will guide him what to do. And you can't then, when you go that other side, you say that it is the ANC. The ANC bears no such responsibility. We are battered. We are smashed in the public eye that we are corrupt. We have gone to a conference. We have done a number of things to reverse corruption. We have taken hard resolutions that if you are affected, these things must happen. Out of self-reflection. That is renewal. So there's no way we are going to accept this bashing without substance about corruption. We've got to deal with that. And then that is what is important. Lucanio, which is the last point you raised, I've answered the Reiter issue. Yes. Tit for tat, I've answered that. We've got no tit for tat with anybody. all what we've got. You know, before we came here, we were discussing with my team our approach to today's press conference. And they were saying, no, it must be political development. I say, what is political development? The most important political development happened on Monday in this country, Shutdown. And it has been talked about for 3 months, I don't know how long, in South Africa. So when it comes to an end and it's a flop, we are told we must not talk about it. It is a flop. It was a flop, Julius. Yes, on and on. It was a flop. Our people did not come to the party for a shutdown. Maybe they would have come to the party for a peaceful march. Not shutdown. They didn't. Don't now try some philosophy that it was not a shutdown, it was a stay away. You did not call for a stay away. You called for a shutdown. Shutdown means means of economic sabotage. Guerrilla tactic, what happened in July? Ban there, mobilize people, stretch the police, bring chaos, bring the economy down. What is the reaction of the rand the following day? I told you the sun will rise from the east and then it will dawn in the west. What is the state of the economy is exactly what you say, which we must attend to. The interest rates and all of those particular things. But the reaction of the markets and everybody else was superb because the country was defended. But we are pained by the fact that innocent people could have fallen into the trap, and some of them could be in jail, having a criminal record, and others slept without food yesterday because they could not commute to go to work because they were threatened. Don't say you did not see this thing when people get into stores, unarmed people who are running business, who were told by EFF members, full gear, close shop or you will know us. We've got them on social media. Today they want to claim that they never did those things. No, man. We are not living in slumberland. We said, don't do this thing. They went into the shops of people, Spa and everywhere, and threatened business owners to close down the shops. And business owners had to stand on their own. The ANC will never be on the side of anarchy, will be on the side of our people. And that is why we mobilized our people and they hit the core. And together with them, including the security forces, to maintain law and order, which is their primary responsibility in this country, under the leadership of President Ramaphosa, made it impossible for anarchy to prevail. Made it impossible for anarchy to prevail. And that is very important. And by so saying, Lucanio, it's not been triumphalist or reducing ourselves. We know the dangers of what we're dealing with. When we began to characterize to you that what happened in KZN and Gauteng was an insurrection, we were attacked by many commentators, well-educated people. No, you are lying. This was not an insurrection. Now we're giving them information. Despite what they saw, which happened only in 2 provinces, they disputed our evidence. No, you are lying. You could imagine if that was doubled in the whole country. Now they've got 10.8%, but they've expanded their influence everywhere in South Africa, the EFF. So the potential to promote anarchy with sporadic activities of violence could not be undermined by the democratic state. They could not. Because that is exactly what was planned. And do not say it did not happen. On the 19th, here in Braamfontein, students began taking to the streets, doing what they did and all of that. And I challenged the one leader of the EFF, and I went to Braamfontein. I said, where are you? To address your people here, who are basically running amok and threatening businesses to close down. Here where we are, in town, Businesses were being threatened, not by word of mouth. Letters were delivered. You open on the 20th, Nizawsaz. That's what happened. Empirical evidence, threatening people. Already people who are traumatized by poverty, COVID-19. People who come from the trauma of the riots, unemployed. You say to them, they won't open. Poor people who run spaza shop, they won't open. You know when a spaza shop is looted, to refill, it's not a child's play. It's a lot of money for a person who runs a spaza shop to refill once looted. Refill. That spaza shop is not insured. You will not get any support from anywhere. Probably you opened a spaza shop with the pension money that you had to is closed down. We encourage such activities. We have never missed our weight when it comes to these matters. We have actually been very clear. We are very vocal on issues of substance. We don't claim easy victories. We have told you now, load shedding. ESCOM told you that by March, 70% of the capacity will come back. 70%. So when you get to stage 1, you want to claim that is because of Malema. But it's easy victory. It's a lie. This is what Amilcar Cabral warned us about. And it goes around, it becomes the truth. No, you know Malema, EFF, you know they just marched this government and all of that. You see now there is no crime and so on. It's easy victory. You can lie to people, but it's temporary. It's temporary. It will be exposed at some point. Because ESCOM is on the journey. We introduced a Minister of Electricity here. We were attacked. We said, let's go down. The board of ESCOM, management of ESCOM currently, we knew that at ESCOM there is goodwill there. We knew that there is goodwill at ESCOM and things will change for the better. Focused minister, as they were protesting yesterday or on Monday, Sputla was visiting, even today, he's visiting all plants, looking at the progress, understanding. Now, you can't run something if you don't understand it. And some of these people give us feedback. We have never been visited here. Nobody ever came to talk to us. A minister talking to us for hours as the management understanding issues and all of that. It's never happened. Sputla has been, as I'm talking to you now, in all those coal plants. And these are some of the things that has happened in this load shedding thing. And that is why President said, I need a focus. And we supported that. We've got an electricity plan that is mixed in this country. That includes solar power, which must be rolled out, because equally with this crisis, there is an opportunity. So households that are able to get off the grid, they've got an opportunity now, not to look back and wait for another load shedding. And that then releases, you know, a lot of power in terms of the pressures that ESCOM was actually facing. As more households off the grid and they are supported through solar power and many other interventions we are making, the better. Equally, the renewables are important. So let me tell you, out of this crisis, in the next 20 years, we will not have a problem of load shedding and power crisis in South Africa. Out of this crisis, that's what we are going to see. If all these things are implemented as we are doing now. I have said, underline, it's early days, but it is promising. There's no victory yet to be declared against load shedding. But what we are seeing, we like it. And it means we are in the right direction. And that is why we want to encourage ESCOM board and the management to keep up the good work. And all ministers coordinated through NECOM and disaster management, Sputla, they must keep up that good work. We don't have now, we've got 24/7 focus on load shedding. And you are right, when I conclude, we need that focus on crime. To say that there is no crime, crime is not escalating in South Africa, will be telling people a lie. We are threatened everywhere we go. Any one of us is facing the possibility of being criminally attacked. We need mobilization of society, resources. We can't have SANDF forever. We need our police inland. We need strategies. We need to work with communities. It doesn't end with the police only. CPFs, community forums, street committees, all of those things need all hands on deck in this fight. Even the intelligence is not collated from stones. It's collated from people who are willing to work with the state to undermine a particular cause. And that is what has happened in relation to this shutdown. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, the Youth League, we're working with them to get them to the conference before end of the year. It has proven to be not an easy task, a difficult one, with all its challenges. We have met with the Youth League leadership. There are certain things we're going to have to do